now. So,
Thank you.
hi there, and welcome to yet another edition of our How People Got Into Cyber. And today I've got a very special guest, one of my titans, as I call her. It's Harshini Kerry, and she's an expert within cybersecurity, information security, and has been in the industry for about 20 years. So, with nothing further to do, I'm just going to jump straight into it. So, Harshini, tell me your story. How did you get into cyber? I want to know how you got in and what you did.
So I wouldn't call myself expert, Musa. I'm just a humble person. I'm a little me, but but I have worked in the industry for information security industry for 24 years. So how I got in was pure by chance. So one of my very close friends introduced me to a ISP, which is at a very early stage of creating cables and telecommunications. So I was one of those people quite fortunate, and I just fell into networking and Cisco routers, etc., which gave me the ground level. And I just discovered, oh wow, I love tech. And this is when Google was just a domain name, free domain name registration company, and AOL was the preferred supplier. So I fell into cyber when cybersecurity was actually not even popular. But I started from there onwards, and it was at a very early stage I realized what I like and what gets me excited. So then my career progressed, and that's how I fell into cyber.
That's really interesting that basically, like a lot of people, you fell into cyber and you started with certain, like with network infrastructure in a way,
Yeah,
learning about
that's
network infrastructure. Did that then lead you to do any boot camps, any certs at the early stage of your career?
It did actually. So I don't want to mention the year. It's a very long time ago. Let's say before 2000. And one of my so they were all network engineers,
Yeah.
and I was that irritating new starter who used to go and harass them and constantly bugs them, to the extent one of them gave me a couple of networks and said, "Just break it and do whatever you want." So I started breaking things, and then they saw, okay, actually she is genuinely interested. So I was fortunate enough to have lots of boot camps through Cisco, to at the time it was called, I think, Sun Workstations, etc. So that was very early stage. And then subsequently, I did the first basic level of Cisco networking and switches, etc. And then throughout the career, started doing different certifications from NIST to AI, networking, all sorts. So that's
I think the interesting thing is that you sort of from what I've understood of your career, Hashini, is that you fell into cybersecurity by falling into IT infrastructure, learning about routers, switches, hubs,
right.
how the basic network fits together. You then did some certs and certifications within Cisco, because I think that was a primary one, to be honest. Back in 2000 and around there, the main provider of most network infrastructure, LAN, WAN, all of that, was Cisco back then. They were probably Sun Systems. They were the main provider of most office-based equipment. So you obviously went down that route. You did some certs. So you've got a good overview. That gave you a very strong sort of foundation within cybersecurity, because I think it's a big advantage knowing it from the ground up, because that then helps you to understand what the when you're trying to secure a system, you know exactly how the system fits together to be able to understand A, the vulnerabilities, and then B, how do you go about securing that system, the system as well. So that's really useful. So off the back of that, in 2024, what would you advise entry-level candidates to do to secure their first role in cyber?
So I genuinely feel sometimes sorry for the new generation, because we were one of the first generation to have the ability to break things, figure things out, because we were very curious, and we had the opportunity because it was not so advanced and there was no digital landscape as sophisticated as today. So it's quite challenging when the new people come on board, because most companies want them to know the stuff, but equally they can't break in or hack in or do those experiments because there are a lot of regulations and compliance in place. So what I would suggest is, and often one other thing I notice about this younger generation is they are driven to sort of follow what other people or the influencers are doing. Don't do that. Figure out what you really likes and talk to people, network, and believe it or not, information security people are quite nice and they will help you. And please don't be afraid, ask questions. Go and attend as many events and talk to anybody on LinkedIn. And I'm sure no one would say, hey, I'm too busy, or yeah, nobody would be so arrogant enough to not help. So reach out to the network and ask questions before you decide which route you're going to take.
I think that's really important, and I've got to agree with you. I think the number of people that are very confused about what they want to do really does lead them to being almost inactive, because if you don't know where you are, which aspect of cybersecurity, information security you want to go into, it makes it very difficult then to tailor your CV and apply for roles. And I think this is where the problem comes. Procrastination then sets in. So I really have to agree with you. I think choose your specialism and then reach out to the professionals in the industry that are in that specialism so you can benefit from that. Or even before that, like you said, reach out to professionals so you can understand what the job roles entail in more detail, so that they can guide you. And you, yeah, actually, I want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. So you can make a choice about your specialism and then build some relationships. And I personally, I mean, I love networking in person. So I go to as many events as possible, but I would encourage entry-level people to definitely attend more events, because you know what, you get in the eye line much more, and you don't know how you can easily build connections with people. It's you know what, some of the best connections I've made are by going to a networking event, talking to some of these the either candidates or business owners, and then it just snowballs from there. So I've got to totally agree with you on that. I think that's really good advice. So thank you very much for your time, and it's been really, really good to have you on my little segment here. So thank you, Harshini. It'll be
You're welcome. Thanks, Musa. Only one other thing I would just say is obviously there's going to be lots of challenges. Just be aware and be prepared. Just don't expect things to happen and work within a year or two. Just put in the hard work and be patient.
Thank you. That's absolutely perfect.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.